Yes, I got right here on the pen, I got some gluten-free bread. We're gonna just take a step back from our usual taping. We're gonna discuss a new topic, gluten. Why and what gluten? Well, recently myself, I found out that I had a certain level of gluten intolerance. To me, it was all new and I didn't really understand basically what it meant. And I took it very light. I said, okay, and I kept on with my life. But I start paying attention because after I did some research, I realized that some of these symptoms that are related to gluten intolerance was actually affecting my life for a long time. I just ignored it. So what is gluten? Gluten is a protein that is mainly, it's actually one of the main part of wheat, as well as other grains. So actually, when you're thinking that you're going gluten-free and you, let's say you go to barley or something, you're actually still having gluten. So what we did is I started conducting my own experiment. And with the further investigation, I found that actually gluten was in most of my diet, starting from being Italian from the south, starting from pasta, pizza, bread. I had to have bread with every meal. It was usually the crusty Italian farm bread. So I started substituting that. It was very hard, I have to say. It's not for everybody, but I got really into that, and I found that it actually helped me a lot. I started feeling lighter, less bloated, more energy, and that was as far as I took it at first. Then I had seen other doctors for other issues, and I started seeing a relation to other things, to this specific gluten situation. And I took actually some general intolerance test. It's not an allergy test, but it's basically they draw your blood and they test for every single particle and food that you ingest in this area. I am in Northeast United States, and a lot of these ingredients that came up as intolerance were almost like 100% match with this gluten intolerance. So I did a match 1-to-1, and I made me even more interested to investigate even further. It is a very complex issue. So I'm not going to go into details on this episode. I just want to give you a panorama of what we are going to pick up the issue of the gluten. Also, we are not going totally gluten-free. We are just going to include the gluten-free diet into our shows, and we're going to discuss further the pro and con of this issue. As I said, that I did start getting some tests, and one thing that I wanted to mention is I also found out that when you have a gluten intolerance, going untreated, going ignored for a long period of time, you could develop a disease called celiac disease, which is basically what happens is by eating a lot of this gluten, which also brings you in terms to a lactose intolerance, And there's a little chain reaction with other things. You know, you're thinking that you go off the wheat and you're done. There are a few more things, but nothing to be too worried about. It is totally possible to have a wonderful diet, everyday diet, and just have to pay attention on what we introduce. But we're going to discuss all of this in future episodes. And very soon I'm going to show you also some wonderful dishes that you can make gluten-free and delicious.
Gluten-free episode 1, take 2.
I'm now going to show you some easy gluten-free dishes, not only for home but also for the outdoor. We are camping in this event, and this is going to be easy. And for this dish I'm going to have the assistance of my very good friends here. We have Athena here, which is having some nice water, and Isabella. Why don't you come here, one on each side maybe. We're going to have a chickpea gluten-free salad. So why don't we start by getting the chickpeas and put a good amount into this bowl. You go ahead and do that. You want to grab some of the very colorful peppers. Just go ahead and use this spoon to put a good amount in there, just like that. Go ahead. I would say that's good. We have prepared all these ingredients. As we mentioned before, you can refer to one of our previous camping episodes where you want to be prepared when you're out there. We did, as you can see, chop, and we parboiled our chickpeas. We peeled them. Everything is ready to go. We have our chickpeas. Athena, now we have a combination of different color peppers, and they're already chopped and mixed together. So put a good amount, and not the whole thing, but a good amount. Now Isabella is going to add the next ingredients. We have here carrots and celery already chopped again. There we go. About 2 to 3 tablespoons of each. For this recipe, I like to introduce a lot of seasonal vegetables. In this case, we have wonderful zucchini that we grew in our garden back in New York. And again, I chopped everything the same size, the carrot, the celery, the peppers, everything. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of those. I try to go like equal proportion. If you tend to like something more than others, then you might want to put extra. There is not really a specific. We're not going to send the zucchini police after you if you add too much of that. Now, to this, we want to add a little bit of garlic. Go ahead, Tina. You can use this one and use maybe half of the garlic. So sprinkle, doesn't matter where it lands because we're gonna have to mix everything. I want maybe half of this onion. We're using red onion in this case. I like the flavor and the color, of course, to add even another dimension to it. Now, to this, maybe we want to do a little bit of mixing. We're going to toss this up, and then we're going to season with, salt and pepper and the rest of the ingredients. So I'm going to mix it for you. You see how everything
Smells so good.
does it? Beautiful. Now, when we are going to salt and pepper and those ingredients, we want to make sure we don't overdo it. So we can always add, what I'm saying, that take it out, right? So go ahead and give me a couple pinch of salt, pinch like I would do, not pinch like a bird. Yes. I'm going to put some pepper. I have here a mixture of red, yellow and black pepper. Any color will do, black pepper is fine. I like to grind it fresh though, because you do have better aroma coming out. And so I'm gonna do that. How much pepper, again, it's up to you. Or you could even not even have pepper at all if you didn't want any. Let's do that. You see how we have all these pits in here? Mm-hmm. So would you like to do that? Try to get some of those out, but just, and since we are in a camping ground, we can just, you know, maybe next time we come here we'll find a lemon tree right there. So this is what we do. You take all of those out, right? Then you, with a fork, you go like that a few times, right? Then you put it sideways and you put some of the juice in there. Go ahead. Would you please get a couple slices of tomato and chop it really small. What do you think you have? You have about like a tablespoon or more?
Yeah.
Put the lemon to the side in case we need it again. We have now fennel seeds. Do you smell that? These are the seeds of the wild fennel plant that grows in the Mediterranean, from the Amalfi Coast and all the way down to Greece. I'm so fortunate to have seeds from my grandparents, and I grow them in my garden here in New York. So we're going to take a couple pinch of those and sprinkle them around. Again, if you can find those and you don't have my telephone handy, and you cannot call me, you can opt out or maybe put a different spice in there if you prefer. I will put a few more just because I like them so much, just like that. Alright, at this point I'm going to let you slowly toss them again. If you need, you can also use another spoon. Have the bowl in front of you so it doesn't slide and we end up with a chickpea on the grass, which is a different recipe. We don't want that today. Isabella at this point is going to give you some of these tomatoes and some lemon zest, some lemon rind that we shaved off this lemon, and very thin, just the yellow part, and we sliced it really thin and we made these little curls in there. I'm actually going to give it even a further little, so you get a little bits in there. And there we have it, added to it. There you go. Stay away from the knife. Safety is very important in the kitchen, not only for kids, for everybody. Continue to mix. Now you get prepared with some of the red wine vinegar, the one with the blue top.
This one?
Yes. Open that up. Put like 5 of those in different areas, not all in the same spot. We're also going to use this balsamic glaze. Being that we are using the seeds from the Mediterranean, this balsamic glaze is infused with figs. Once again, you don't have that, you can have regular balsamic, it would be just fine. So let's have a little Picasso squeeze. Squeeze it and move it around. I would say that's enough. And last would be the olive oil. Add some more olive oil. A little more. Okay, let's mix that. Fantastic, it looks really good right there. Before you decide that it's done, you want to taste it a little bit, and if it needs any reseasoning,
delicious.
I really trust my assistants here, so I think we are fine. But in case you did need to reseason, this is the time to do it before you serve.
one of the flavors that really pops out of this is the lemon. Look at the sour. I like how it has that crunch, and then the chickpeas are like soft, so it's like a crunchy soft. I give it 5 stars out of 5 stars.
Now, isn't that beautiful? Remember, just because you have to be or you want to be gluten-free, you don't have to give up anything. You don't have to give up any flavors. If anything, you can enhance your life by having something so beautiful and delicious. Va bene? It's probably the gluten.
Hey baby.